Well, looks like I got snowed out from work today, so we're going to be fixing up the present I got from Dan. So I got some stuff for the Stratocaster, one of which being the new neck. It's a vintage 61 neck. I also got this pick guard and these knobs. So let's see how she looks. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the tension in the strings and then cut them off. I'm going to take my little cutter here that I got in my kit. Just snip off the wires. Some people like to try to save and reuse. I feel like at a certain point, if it was like brand new strings, I might try to save them, but these, I'm not sure. They've been on it since I got it for Christmas. So, all right, so we got all the strings off. Now it's time to get the neck off. So I'll find a screwdriver, or you could do this with a drill. I prefer hand tools, at least when I'm putting the neck back on, so then I can judge how far the screw is going and the tension on the screw manually, because you don't want to go too far, because these can strip out, and these are a pain in the neck if they strip out. Okay, good. So as you can see, we have detached lay neck. This neck is a little bit longer. It's got that overhang for that, I think the 22nd fret, whereas the new neck is a 21 fret. So we'll see what that looks like. Took the liberty of taking off the back plate, so we're going to leave that off to change out the pick guard. And I noticed that whoever previously worked on this thing obviously swapped this out and never took off the protection. I'll have you know, there's 2 layers of protection on this thing. 1 layer just would not do, so they had to put at least 2 layers on. And who knows, maybe there was a 3rd layer that the guy actually took off and thought that was the only layer. I don't know, but there's 2 more layers on there. So now I flipped it over, I took the switch knob off, a little nubby on there, and take all the knobs off. If you don't have a tool to do that, a good old butter knife works, just to get under there and pry it up on all sides, and then until it pops off. But you gotta be careful, because some people glue them in there for some reason. You're not supposed to use any glue to put those knobs on there, so you can swap them out if need be. Or if a tone pot or volume pot goes out, you're going to need to be able to replace that without cutting apart your whole pick guard, so don't glue those in. Alright, I'm taking out the screws, got all the caps off. I'm going around the outside, taking off all these screws. I'm going to pop this sucker off, see what she looks like. Okay, now that I got this off, looks pretty nice under there, pretty clean. I'm going to take the screws out of here, and that'll drop this out of here. And then I'm going to take the nut off of these, then they should just pop right out like that. You don't want to really move them around too much because they all are wired together. And these are really, on this one, only finger tight, which when I put this back together, we're going to fix that. You want those kind of snug in there so it's not moving around. If it's moving around, it's going to be breaking that weld a lot faster, or the solder a lot faster than you want it to be. Yeah, these weren't even on there. Okay, we went through, we took out all the pickups out, got all this stuff unscrewed and unbolted. We'll take that out. Those are the pickups. I kind of looked over some of the soldering. It seems to be a little sketchy in some spots, so I might go through and beef up a little bit of the soldering, especially on the pickups. But I'm going to attach this first so we have a nice base. This is going to be the new color. As you can see, it's got the tin foil on there already, or the sheathing that protects against power surges and quiets it down a lot, because if you don't have proper grounding, you're going to get a noisy pickup. When you reinstall the pickups, in between the pickup and the back of the pick guard, these little springs go. And that's so you can adjust the pickup up and down. So you want to make sure you put these springs in the exact same way that it came out of there. Just do it in reverse. See, it's going to kind of look something like that. What I normally do is I'll put the springs on before I even try to attempt to put them on there. And then I fit up the pickup and then push it together. That seems to work out pretty well. Okay, got all the hardware up in the new pick guard. I'm going to take the new shiny screws that came with it and go around the outside and screw it all down. Okay, so reattaching the new pick guard, I found a couple spots that are completely stripped out. New screw won't work. None of the old screws worked. I believe there was about 3 screws missing. A little trick you can do. You can take a toothpick, shove it down in there, break it off. You're going to take that piece, shove it in there, then screw in your screw. This is going to hold it tight. There you go. I've used this for multiple things, like strap locks. You know, you throw it around your guitar on stage and one pops off or the screw strips out. You could I normally put a couple toothpicks in there and then ram that guy back in and you're good to go. Alright, so that's a little preview of the new neck that's going on there. And I'm gonna bolt it up. Feels like this has a lot of play in it, so we might have to shim it up. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, I suppose. I'm gonna bolt it in. So, you can see by the multiple different sets of holes that this obviously was somebody replaced something on here, so they replaced that back piece. So I'm willing to bet that they replaced the neck and the back piece, and most likely the pickups. So that's who made the neck. DB built, whoever DB is, built this neck. But Fender built this neck, so I'm going to put this neck on. Also, I've threaded these through, and when you're attaching a neck, I normally thread them through to where I can just barely feel them pop out before I put the neck on. So otherwise you're going to be having to thread through and you can't really tell exactly where the screw is. I like knowing where it is at all times. So it is super easy to strip out wood. And necks are a lot harder than say the ends of the guitar to fix with toothpicks, so try not to strip it out. Alright, got the new neck on. It's my wife hiding under blankets so she don't get seen. It's still don't know if I have to shim it up at all, but we'll see. And I won't know until I get the strings on, of course. So. Okay, so part of getting to be able to put the strings back on it is I have to put these guys in the new neck. Unfortunately, I don't have a screwdriver that ridiculously small right on hand at the moment. I'm charging up my drill, and I'll see if I can get those puppies off. Some of those look fairly stripped out, so I might have to run to the Ace Hardware and pick some up, so we'll see. Yeah, it's Wednesday, so I'm just noticing now that the sirens are going outside. I was wondering if there was a tornado or what was going on out there. Maybe it's a snow-nado. So, went through, after I ran to Ace Hardware, got a new screwdriver with a smaller size bit. So I can take out all these little tiny screws on here, holding these in. So these are pretty simple. This fits in the wood hole right here, and then you go through on the other side and cap that off. Well, you put the washer in there, then you screw it down till it's tight, and then you screw it in from the back. That holds everything in place where it's supposed to be. However, a number of these guys are almost completely, if not completely, stripped out. So that means another trip to Ace Hardware in a little bit here. Get some more screws. Okay, I've gotten her to this point here. It's really take shape here. So I got one tuning peg on so far. Let me tell you what happened. So I took all the hardware off of this one. Found out the new one, their holes aren't big enough to fit this one. And, not to mention all the ones that were stripped off, 2 of them broke off inside this head. So, I'm also out of a couple screws. So what I'm going to do is, for now, I'm going to take these and swap them with this one until I can get a new set. And then I'll redo these. So I got one on there. So now I'm going to put one string on and just kind of see where the neck's sitting. See if I have to shim the neck up at all. Alright, so that's what we got going on so far. See, the neck is on. I put the strings on. There's some pressure points that I gotta screw in that hold these strings tighter to the nut. so it doesn't keep popping out of the nut. Then this is really high. I don't know if you can see, but that's quite raised off the fretboard, so I don't know, we'll see what happens. I got these strings that are on it right now free from like one of my tool kits that I bought. I just threw it on there to see how it goes, see if I can get it to play. I'm going to plug it in, maybe tune it up, see what happens, see what else it needs, but so far.
Daddy, can I?
Okay, so that's where we're at so far. Within the period of the snow day morning, but now my kids are home from school, so it's time to put a pause on this for a minute. This is the end of part one. Part two will be coming later tonight. And now I gotta go put some beds together. The kids got some new beds from my work. So,
Hello.
wish me luck. Hello.
I've been eating chips.
Talk to you later.